So I hear you have a date tonight.
Yeah, I do. It's quite a hot one, but I don't know what to cook.
No, nothing at all.
No, I want to give her something with a bit of welly.
Oh, how about a beef Wellington?
Oh.
This beef Wellington, like any classic, uses fillet of beef and a mushroom duxelle, but we're going to give it an Italian twist with some fresh basil and some parma ham.
Get you!
Okay, so a little bit of a twist on the usual. To start with, mushroom, if you can just peel that, and Barry, if you can crush and roughly chop our garlic. What we're going to make is a duxelle, okay, which is like a mushroom pate. It goes inside of our beef Wellington. So we just take our mushroom and put it in here. We want to blend it up into kind of a paste. And Barry, if you can add in the garlic. I'm going to add a knob of butter as well, and some salt and pepper, if you can just grind those in. Meanwhile, can you heat up both of our pans? We want really, really hot pans for this, both for our beef and our mushrooms. Lid goes on, blend it up to a paste. That'll do us. So, if you can scoop all that into the small pan.
Cool.
And meanwhile, in this really, really hot pan over here, our fillet of beef. Now, this is an expensive cut of beef. It comes from inside of the cow, so it's not used like the leg or the other parts of the cow. So it's an underused muscle, which makes it really tender. And it's got to go into a really hot pan. And then, Jamie, if you can season that up as well.
Yep. There's no oil in there.
No, and we don't want to really cook this. We just want to seal it, just enough to cover it all up.
Amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Garlicky mushroom goodness.
Oh, yeah.
And what you want to do is cook it till it's quite dry. You can see all the steam coming off. Okay, so as soon as it's much drier, pop it into there.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we'll turn over our beef. It's important when you're cooking this, you do it when the beef is fridge cold as well. Okay. You don't want to cook it. When it's cold, you just want to seal the edge. Okay. Cool. On the steak, make sure with this really hot pan, you seal around the edges as well. While we're waiting for that to finish, Jamie, we can start to talk about our other flavours. So our parma ham, lay out 2 of those.
Yep.
And Jamie, if you can just put a few whole basil leaves onto our parma ham.
Or just lay it on there.
Yep. And now that our beef is sealed, we can put this on like so. And then this mushroom duxelle, obviously we're just showing you how to make it for one, but you can do exactly the same in larger quantities. Now we've got our steak, mushroom and basil on there, we can wrap it all up in that parma ham. Don't be shy with that, we want plenty of that. Now we need to roll it up in some puff pastry. Okay, puff pastry, again, traditional to the beef Wellington.
Yep.
So we're going to place our beef wraps in all our goodness there. If you can just crack an egg into there with some egg wash, that's going to be our glue for our pastry. Okay, so we roll it over at this point. So we completely seal it in, clamp down these edges, and we don't want excessive amounts of pastry, so just round it off. And then because you've put that egg down, you can kind of use that as the glue to seal it all in. We've got a tray in the oven already hot. We need to make sure the hot tray seals the pastry on the bottom so that it doesn't go soggy. We'll place our beef Wellington tucked and folded onto there. And then, Baz, if you can just egg wash the whole thing. It needs to go into a hot oven at 190 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. And there's just enough so it's still nice and pink in the middle. So Jamie, you can do that. Back into the oven. And meanwhile, we can clear all this down and focus on our other ingredients. If we can just top and tail our beans. So I just want to take the last little bits off of each of those. When it comes to Meals Impress, it's all about making things look good. So some very, very simple green beans need to be wrapped up in some leek. Okay, so again, a simple thing, completely optional, but I quite like it. If you cut down, we just want to take literally a strip of leek, and then we're going to blanch that with our beans. So thank you very much, Jamie. Those beans can all go into our rapidly boiling salted water for 3 or 4 minutes. And then our leek goes in there as well, just for maybe a minute or so, just to soften. And then our potato, all we need to do is peel it, cut it up in small pieces, and boil it in cold salted water for about 15 minutes, the same time as our beef Wellington. And then we'll have mashed potato as well. But for now, we're back in a few minutes. A couple of minutes, that's all the beans need, so we can drain those off, and then we can start to get a little bit arty. How good are you with knots, Barry?
Knots? I am a sailor.
Right, so remember our flexi leek that we just blanched for about a minute? Now what we can do is strip it down, and that becomes the string that you're going to use to tie up a bunch of beans.
I now know what you're talking about. I've seen this in restaurants.
So lay a handful on, wrap it up, and then just a very simple knot. It's a bit fiddly, but it's well worth the time.
Done.
Awesome, nice and neat. And just poke that one back in. There we go. And the great thing about this is they're now ready to serve because they're hot, or you can leave them, let them cool down and reheat them in the microwave for about 10-20 seconds. Other than that, we'll wait for our Wellington for another 10 minutes, and then we can show you our meal to impress. So there we go, nicely puffed up, beautifully golden. At this point, we need to leave it to rest for a couple of minutes, which is perfect time, Jamie, for you to mash our spuds.
Yep.
And Barry, if you pop those into our microwave for about 20 seconds to reheat, we can start to plate up. We're just gonna do one portion now to show you what we mean. We can take half of our Wellington, so if we cut into this.
I'm intrigued by this bit.
Nice sharp knife. That is what you're looking for.
Oh,
beautifully rare in the middle. One of our scorchingly hot bean wraps there. Some of your mash, Jamie?
Yep.
There we go. You don't need a huge amount because you've got all that pastry as well. With this, we don't even need any sauce because that beef is beautifully succulent enough and all that mushroom duxelle. There we go, a meal to impress. Our Italian beef Wellington sorted. A glass of wine.
Looking forward to
So
this.
that beef should be lovely and tender. Make sure you get that basil.
You can really taste the parma ham.
It's like a salty sort of baconiness in there.
Barry, if I cook this for you,
Yeah. I would be under your begging call, Jay. That duxelle's my favourite bit, I think.
Ben, you have absolutely duxelled yourself.
Wow. And if you want more jokes like that bad, then go to the website sortedfood.com.
Not just jokes, but daily video recipes.